Welcome to Off The Rickshaw, the podcast where three South Asian millennials slow down, speak up, and sound off. We're not here to explain our culture. We're here to live it, question it, and laugh through it. From immigrant upbringings to adult pains, auntie commentary to existential spirals, this is where heritage meets hot takes. We're the kids who grew up balancing multiple worlds. Born here, raised there, and then shaped everywhere. Our guest today is Zul Ghulam Hussain, a Toronto-based stand-up comedian whose Don't Lie, You Were Thinking It Too tour sold out venues across Canada. If you ever laughed at immigrant logic, aging pains, or secretly wished minor inconveniences on someone who deserved it, yeah, he's talking about you. Born in Africa, raised in Flamo, Zul's comedy brings together families who've traveled the same path, blend nostalgia, pettiness, and truth in a way that feels instantly familiar. And beyond the laughs, he's using comedy to give back, donating show profits to organizations like the Aga Khan Foundation Canada and the Aga Khan Development Network. He's been featured in The Ismaili, co-hosted the World Partnership Walk in Toronto, and he's back on the road with a brand new tour, Nergis' Son, an ode to his first fan and toughest critic, his mom. So whether you're here for the jokes, the shared trauma, or the reminder that comedy can hit hard and do good, you're in the right place. Let's hop in, take a seat. Welcome. This is Off The Rickshaw. Let's ride. Zul, thank you for being here.
Hey, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate y'all. This is
our, I think by the time it comes out, our 6th or 7th episode.
And our first one with a guest.
And our first one.
You're the first guest.
Yeah.
First guest on our
And this is a little extra special because we recently just attended Zul's comedy show at the Ismaili Center, Toronto.
Yeah.
And, oh man.
Thank you.
We laughed. And I cried. I know it was your second time watching.
Yeah,
it.
but it got better.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate it.
And I had tears. I'm gonna say it honestly. I had tears. It was really good.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, listen. Before we get you guys, I gave y'all flowers off camera, but like, listen. Y'all deserve this, man. Everything that you guys have been doing. And like, if you look at my social media, like who I don't follow a lot of people. I follow like 2 like podcast groups or whatever. And you guys are one of them because I'm so proud of you and seeing and knowing you guys from like a young age and Donald kind of and growing up and seeing where you guys are now, like fills my heart with joy and love. And so it was only right that I came through and, you know, y'all blessed me with this opportunity.
So likewise, it's like real recognizes real. And like, it's really good to see like people, doing things, and just
for sure,
like going outside the community and you're representing us.
Especially in an area where like Ismailis haven't really ventured. Like
comedy,
very like niche.
Yeah.
I personally know.
Because we have musicians, we have like sports players, but like
comedy is like a very
definitely
niche area. So.
And that was the point of this episode. To kind of crack that code of why you picked this domain, what got you into it. But I mean, let's set the foundation or let's set the stage of, where this even came to be. Like, I mean, take us through your upbringing, take us through why, like how you use comedy as an outlet and how you're now taking it to the next level by making it a profession.
Yeah. So first and foremost, born in Africa, came here when I was very young. One of my stories is about my first 2 days in Canada and like just the cultural differences between growing up in Africa and growing up in the Western world. And so came here, was raised in Flemington Park. And basically it was like my dad was working nights and it was me and my mom and my brother at home. And, when you're growing up poor in the ghetto, not a lot of stuff is not funny, and it was more like, what can I do to make my mom happy? And I was young. I was like 7, 8 years old. And all of us, all immigrant sons and daughters were like living room performers, right? So like, when your parents have their friends come over and they're like, yo, dance for my friends. Like, that's essentially what it was. Yeah, that's essentially what it was. It was like, mom's was tired from working a long day. Dad was going to night work, whatever. And so how can I play my part? And it's just like, keep the spirits up. And so that's why comedy. And mom was my first critic, my biggest critic. She was my first fan. And like, if I can make her laugh, it's like, that's all I need. Like, forget the fame, forget the money, like, just everything. And so my tour is an ode to her, right? And so it's only right that we get that started.
Very cyclical. I mean, take us through high school, take us through middle school too. And kind of take us through your journey of kind of your growing up.
Man. So I feel like in my friends, I have the greatest friends in the world. Like I have my day ones from Flemo, like just the greatest.
And you're still connected with them?
100%. Like we meet up often. These guys are like the greatest guys in the world. They keep me around. They keep me grounded. Like, it doesn't matter what I do, but like when I go in that circle, I'm still like, junior and like just a silly guy.
Yeah.
And so that graduated me from like the funny one in our friends group to like wedding emceeing to, like being the funny one in like Jamati setting. And then that graduated me to eventually taking the leap because I've always wanted to do this and I've always had nerves about it. And I've always been like nervous and scared and this and that. And then last November, divine intervention, Kismet, some guy, I've never met him before. And when you go on Facebook and you have like algorithms of like people who are like, oh, this guy might have a common interest. And that's what it was. And so I didn't even add this guy and he just popped up on my feed and was like, if you've ever thought about doing comedy, come try out at this like rookie rumble thing. And so I put my name in the hat. I got chosen and it was like 11 people went up and like the only like rule was that you have to have been doing comedy for less than 2 years. And so this was my very first time and Buddy did it by alpha order. So I went on last. I was last and like Zul and he was like freaked out because he's like, yo, like what if you suck? And like, you're closing the show.
And this is on top of your head?
This is on top of my head. Oh no, like I
You
wrote
prepped a little bit.
Yeah. Like I had my 5-10 minutes of material ready, whatever. And then and he was like, oh, like you sure you want to go on last? I was like, yeah, like that's already done. Let's go. And so I did it and I came in second.
Oh my
I came in second and then literally I met the producer of the venue or the owner of the venue that night and I shot him an email the next day and I was like, listen, I'm looking to produce a show, my own special, and like when's the earliest I can have it?
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, hey, have you ever produced a show before? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Lying through my teeth. Lying, I don't know the first thing, brother, about producing. Yeah. Bro, this guy was like, you know about tickets? I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. Marketing? Absolutely. I didn't know jack, bro. I didn't know jack. And 6 weeks to that day, he's like, all right, we got an opening. I was like, I'll take it. And then I just bet on myself and alhamdulillah, like the community came out in droves. You were there in the first show. And it was it's been lit ever since, man.
But let's talk about the monsters in your head though. Like, yes, you're saying yes to all these things when he's asking you questions.
Yeah.
But I'm sure as soon as you hung up, you're like panic mode. Like,
100%.
What do I do? How do I do it? But also like speak on the aspect or understanding of the village because I have to shout out people that need shout outs. Your wife is in front stage and always screaming your name and cheering for you. I also want to know like, what is she telling you too at this point?
Honestly, I'm richly blessed to have a partner like that.
Yeah.
Like, what's the biggest decision you'll ever make is like your partner in life, right? And so by the will and grace of God, like we met when I was 19, or I was 20, she was 19, first year university, and we've been together ever since, right? And so, like she's the bedrock of everything that goes on in the background. Like I am just the figurehead at the front. Like in the back, she's like reading contracts, getting insurance, researching venues with me, making sure that like our finances are in order. Cause like if you don't today, for my upcoming tour, like I had a venue reach out to me and be like, hey, like you haven't paid the next step deposit, whatever. And so like it was my wife who reminded me in the morning, like, hey, make sure you send this second quarter deposit, whatever, right, to secure the venue. So she's just everything else behind the scenes. She also vets my jokes. So like she's militant with it, man. Like
really?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't see that.
No,
when you're on stage, she's going, woo!
No, sure. I'm richly blessed. But like in like a month before, so like there's like 6 weeks right now. So Shukr, the show's basically done being written, and like for like a month, every day before the show, I'll practice it for her in front of like in our living room. And then like a week before, we do a full dress rehearsal. Like it's like it's on point. That's man. Cool. So awesome. Like like it looks all like the polished is all her. Like I have like rough notes and I need to compartmentalize my jokes and this and that, and it's all her. Like, hey, well, how about this? How about this? How we move that over there? Blah blah. Because she's also been with me for like 23 years, right? So she knows, and she like even when I like go off script, she's like, hey, that wasn't you. That didn't sound like you. Yeah. And so like how do you lose a crowd really fast is you're not yourself. Right? Like, and even there was a couple of punchlines where like, I was like, oh, like blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no, not you. Right? So, and it worked. Like, and go figure, when I'm on stage, I can play off of that natural punchline. And some of my biggest jokes for like show 4, 5, 6 of the last tour were based on Off the Top Dome because of her like structure, right? So yeah, man.
That's super interesting. And
Yeah.
so, at any point, did you feel like, should we cancel? Like, should we like, maybe
Oh,
we shouldn't?
yeah. So I'll tell you, man. Like when ticket sales are slow,
Yeah.
you feel that, especially like right now, because from a producer standpoint,
Yeah.
not a lot of people know. Like you have to pay for these venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ahead of time.
Yeah. Oh.
Out of pocket.
Yeah. Out of
You're not
pocket.
betting on yourself.
Yeah. 100%. And like, bro, like they don't care. You get 3 people in the audience or sell out the damn thing at 300.
They need the money.
They got their money already, right? So like, there's venues right now. I won't name, but they're like ridiculously expensive, and they don't give you no kind of discount. Even though like this comedy bar that I did 3 sold out shows for them, and I was like, yo, like give me a discount, some slot. They were like, absolutely not. Right? So, and like right now, I'm like, just to produce this tour and secure all the venues and everything, merch and insurance and everything, I'm like 39 grand in the hole right now. Right now.
Wow.
Right? So only when tickets start to sell
Yeah.
and merch goes and everything, and then you're back in the green. And then after that, whatever you've like covered is even, and then whatever's after that is roses. Right? So like right now, if you tell me, hey, how much did you know how much you were gonna make off the last tour? No, I don't. I didn't. And then only when it wrapped up and I go home and do the financials, like, okay, this is how much I ended up making at the end. But like currently as it stands, even with like ticket sales right now, yeah, you're like 39 grand in the hole.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay for flights, hotels.
This is entrepreneurial.
Yeah, brother. So, and if you look at all of my dates, they're all on the weekends, minus Vancouver, because Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver is during March break. So like I took March break off ahead of time next year, and I'm just going to be performing out west, right?
Let's put your comedy on the side.
Yeah, man.
Are you still working full time?
Yes.
So I'll talk about that. So like when you got into it, now inshallah, fingers crossed, like this becomes full time.
Inshallah.
Right? That's
From your
and then-
mouth to Mola's ears, man.
Inshallah. But like while you get there, you still have to kind of get this going. It's like a side hustle that you're gonna try to make full time. When you got into this, when you had your first decision that you wanted to do this, what was that risk taking like for those who are thinking about it, who are working full time, and now you're saying you're 39?
Yeah.
Okay, you know,
Yeah.
Like for those who are thinking about it, like how do you compartmentalize? I want to do this, and I want to go in. It's gonna cost money, but I have to make the investment.
Yeah.
But I'm also working full. Like, how did you balance that out?
Yeah, man. Honestly, it's your support system, right? Because like if you don't have somebody on your shoulder, and my wife will tell you from like day one, the jump, she was like, "What are you doing? Like you're wasting your time, you're wasting your talent, you're wasting your energy. Like why aren't you on stage?" Right? So like the fact that you have that support system in the back, and it's like a comfortable pillow. Because listen, my son, when I go and I sell out a show, I perform in front of 300 people. I come home, I'm still dad. I still need to take out the garbage. I still need to, you know what I mean? Like, and he doesn't know that, right? So like recently for the Fanous, I performed at downtown Kane, and like he was there for the first time in the audience. So for like a week after, he's like regurgitating my jokes and whatever. Like, it felt so awesome, right? But like if it wasn't for that support system, I don't think I'd make that jump. And don't get it twisted. Like this is the result right now, but it took me so long to get here, and that's with the support system. Right? So like if anyone's watching who is wanting to do this, honestly, I would tell them to jump right now. Like start right now. Don't waste your time, because you only got one life to live, man. You know what I mean? As long as you're not, we have a board at home called the G philosophy, Ghulam Hussein philosophy, and it just basically says if you're not hurting anybody or if you're not doing anything illegal, you work too damn hard not to ... fill in the blank. Right? So like, bro, like, growing up where we grew up, like we don't get a lot of opportunities for shine and for making a name positively of ourselves. Like, like you always have the ruffians and Kanye, and you're like, that guy. And it's like, that stain on your family name takes a long time to grime off. Some of us, like olders or youngers, in my case, younger, have been working in that positive light to like make sure our parents can hold their head up high when they walk out the door. Right? And like going to Kanye with like respect and like love and admiration, bro, like that fire in and of itself, if that doesn't get you, like drive you to like pursue your passions, what will? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the starting base. Yeah.
And so what's the smallest thing you can do
right now?
If you're someone who's trying to get into this space?
Smallest
The
thing.
smallest thing. I want to try to get into this. What should I start thinking about?
Are you specifically talking about comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, right.
Just right.
Just start writing your jokes. Go to open mics. They're free, right? Work on your craft. Like, so we'll talk about this later, but like
Yeah.
in terms of having an opener, you usually have like a 5 or 10 minute set. So write jokes, time yourself. If you get like 5 minutes worth of material, then run with it and like, bank on yourself. There's a well-known comedian right now, and she just basically came out with like kind of a special, and she was just like, I found my favorite comedian and I DM'd her and I was like, yo, can I open up for you? And like, yeah, like she was like in like California from Toronto.
Yeah.
And she like flew out there.
Oh.
Just to get that
just to
opportunity.
get that like 5 minutes of fame.
Wow.
And like, you know what I mean? So like bank on yourself. Why not? What's the worst they can say? No, right?
Yeah.
Listen, as immigrants, our parents came here with nothing. And they look at how much they've improved their lives and our lives. We'd be doing a disservice to them to their struggle if we didn't live our best life. Right? So like they did it like assimilation with like racial undertones, with like, just wicked oppression, people laughing at them, cultural systemic barriers, like, and bro, look at how much grace and class they came up with on the opposite side.
That's right.
Right? And then we are their product of their struggle. So like why wouldn't we lift up our community, our family, us? Like why not?
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I just bank on yourself, man. What's the worst thing? Our people, our culture have been used to being heard or have heard no for so long. So it's not like, it's a new thing. All right, you say no, someone else will say yes. And that's exactly what happened to me. I can't tell you how many, like this is the product of multiple no's, cold calling, cold venue booking, right? Like, and like some of this show, I'll tell you, this show should have been like 15 venues, but like halfway through, people just stop, like they ghost you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people take your money and they're like, oh, yeah, no, sorry. And then they pay you back like 3 months later. You're like, okay, so you never had a interest in me, like actually performing there. Yeah. You just didn't want to look like a jerk, like, whatever. So, yeah, then.
So I want to touch on something.
Yeah.
So you were talking about, your parents, and you were talking about your wife who supports you, and we owe it to our parents to live our best life.
Yeah.
But that's ideal, but sometimes that doesn't really come across. Like I don't know about you guys. Yeah, but sometimes I get pressure from my parents and from my family to be like, oh, I'll hear things like, oh, why are you doing that? You should be doing this.
Yeah.
So what was that aspect like with your family?
Yeah, 100%. So like from and like this, like my mom was a legal assistant. So for like years and years, what are like the three main professions? Lawyer, doctor, engineer, right? Everyone, look, I didn't even figure. That's not even a joke. Like I said the first one, and then two. Like everyone said the second two, right? The last two. But like for me, my mom was like law, and I followed that up until like fourth year university. I actually did my degree based on like that kind of familial pressure, because cousins ahead of me were also going into that field, whatever. And listen, I can write an essay, no problem, but I'm not happy. You know what I mean? And like I did co-op. I even went so far as to like getting like my my paralegal designation and whatnot. And like the one thing I didn't like is that I was doing a co-op placement, and I was part of an overtime team, and they were there until like 7 o'clock, and I was miserable. Yeah. Bro, I was getting paid handsomely, but I was miserable. You know what I mean? So I think at a certain point, if you don't have that familial support after going their route, and if they don't see that, that's unfortunate, and I'm sorry, because I know there's a bunch of us who will not have that family support, but at the end of the day, it's your life. You know what I mean? Yep. And you can only make your parents so happy. And bro, I know people who are doctors right now who are actually, I was at an open mic last month, and there was a doctor on stage. He's like, bro, I just did like neurosurgery at like 4 o'clock, and he's like, I came here and I'm doing this for free. Yeah, right. So like, it's your passion, it's your calling. Like, if your soul is crying while you're making 300,000, like, what are you doing? What's the point? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and like our parents. Listen, my parents are almost 80, right? Our parents are gonna be gone soon. It is what it is, right? Inevitable, right? They're gonna be with Mola, and we're gonna do lots of work for them, but their legacy is not who we end up being. Their legacy is how happy we are in what we are doing. right? So and changing the world and making a positive impact, right? So if they are looking down, and I'm sure they will be looking down on us and smiling because it's like, look at my son or daughter doing something that they're happy and passionate about, and you're not hurting nobody, right? And like it's a good like our community, especially within our community. So I think that's how I would answer that.
What was your parents' reaction when you first told them that you were going into this space? Like what were some of the things that you
Yeah.
Did you tell them or did you show them?
No.
Yes, this venue
Yeah.
at 7 p.m.
You know what's funny? Is they have never seen me perform live.
No way.
Never.
Is it going to be
Never.
one of these dates?
The kickoff show is
Toronto?
the first
Toronto?
time, Toronto
Okay.
at the Aga Khan Museum. The
Front
first
seats?
show,
Front row seats?
front row seats,
Okay.
and so that's when
Nice.
Nurgis will be introduced to the
That's
world,
awesome.
right? And so so like they've seen clips on like online and like
Social media.
through like the family WhatsApp group channel. Like I've never sent them anything, right? And it's not like I'm embarrassed of my material or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't think sometimes the connection is there. Not with my parents, just with the material. Right. And then my mom knows that like a good chunk of my stories are about her. Right? Like just embarrassing stories. But like and we all have them. Like you know what I mean? Right? The title could be interchanged with like your mom's name. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone has, right? And like people are like, oh yeah, what about your material? And I'm like, guy, I don't need to. Like I hang out with my parents for like a month. I have enough for a special. Like you know, right? So to answer your question, my parents were really supportive, man. You know, like shukr, alhamdulillah. They were like, yo, you're doing this. You're happy, and you know, it's like a progression, right? Like I told you, I was wedding MC for a bunch of our community members and friends, and so it was like one of those that like they see it. And they see and like and they know I don't mean no like ill intent or like I don't have no like ill will in my heart. So it's like as long as I'm spreading positivity and making people laugh, that was like my main thing. And like Shukr, I had with the last tour, I had set up like a 7-city tour, and then Mola passed.
Yes.
Right. So everything stops for 40 days, and then 40 days ran right into Ramadan. So Shukr, the benefit show that I did in April was the first slot that was open after the Muharram and the Ramadan period. So then that's when me and Nadia decided like, yo, we got to do something for the community, and we're just going to donate all the funds. So that's what we did. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So we sold out and we donated all the funds to AKN. Yeah.
Kind of going over from kind of your personal life,
Yeah.
let's get a little bit into something that is very evident, and at least it's evident to me, maybe to you guys as well. But it's your connection to faith and community and how that connects. Because I don't think these things work separately. I think for you, it's even on your your sweater, Iman over everything. For those who don't know what Iman is, Iman's faith over everything. How do those things connect for you? Every word that you're saying, you're ending with shukr. You know, you're grateful.
Yeah.
Your divine gratefulness. You're saying alhamdulillah, or all praise be to God. You're saying these things. What is the connection, and what is that to your personality, who you are today?
Oh man, it's everything. And like, you know, like listen, we got 2 juniors here, and they can attest for me. They were my juniors. I've been this way forever. Like it's not an act. And by the way, Iman is also my son's name.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? So Iman over everything, double entendre.
Yeah.
We're actually trademarking this. So like this will be available for sale come the new tour.
Nice.
Right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Right? And so it's like and by the way, like a chunk of those proceeds are also going to be going to AKN.
Nice.
So just you know, and so to answer your question, like about faith, this is who we are.
Yeah.
Right? Faith-based people, our religion, our culture, our people, our community, right? Like we have strong ties to our religion. And coming from where we come from, it's religion and then everything else, right? I know some people are jaded and they've had things that happen to them in their personal lives. But if you really look back, there's a poem called Footprints, right? And I don't know if you guys know this poem. It's basically a man was walking on the beach and he was walking with God, and across the sky flashed scenes from his life. And he noticed for every action, there's 2 sets of footprints, right? And he also noticed that like when during his darkest times and during his most lonely, challenging times, there was only 1 set of footprints. So he like got mad with God. He was like, God, like why when I needed you, would you leave me the most? Like there's only 1 set of footprints. And God turned to him and goes, my son, my precious child, I love you. I would never leave you. during those times of trials and tribulation, when you only see one set of footprints, it's them that I carry, right? Right? So I'm just like, and Alhamdulillah, I didn't need a bookmark or a poem to know that, because growing where we grew up from and coming out of the mud and being where we are right now, like you can't tell me that divine intervention doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Right? Like so many times life has pushed all of us to our knees, but guess what? You're in a perfect position to pray.
So Zoe, tying back faith to comedy, we were just talking about it, how you just performed at the Smiley Center in Toronto. So I know you've performed at different venues before. How is it like? What are the differences of performing in a comedy bar versus performing in a religious institution?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it has to do with like knowing your audience, right? So like preparation, the portfolio that contacted me was young Ismaili adults. So that it's in Kane. So it needs to be kosher and clean.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of this tour is, at least the kickoff show, it's going to be at Aga Khan Museum. And so what I've done is I've maintained that clean comedy aspect of it. And so I think that versus comedy bar, where it's no holds bar, I think allows me to better prep from the writing material standpoint, so that I know when I deliver it, I need to make a note of this asterisk and say, oh, I can't say that, and then I rewrite it to the audience, right?
Is one crowd harder than the other?
I don't think it's harder. I think it's just when you've been practicing. So like I'll give you an example. Last tour, I had a lot of Ismaili people, older Ismaili people, show up at one of the venues, and I said one swear word, and there was like a collective gasp. There was like, right? So I was like, okay, there's a lot of Maz in the audience. We need to pivot. And so like literally like every F-bomb became like faludo, every B word became burfi, like you know what I mean? And so like at one point someone's alarm went off and I was like, oh, like somebody needs to go take their medication. And like I was joking, but she was like, no, yeah, you're right. And like she got up and left, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know what I mean? So like stuff like that you can't plan for, but like if you know you're gonna be performing at like a religious event, or like Focus Alberta called me last month and they were like, hey, can you do one for like our donor dinner event? So I was like, okay, like I know that obviously right off the bat needs to be, clean comedy. So it's not harder, it's just prepping. And I like I said earlier with like Nadia, like I research and I prep and I go over and over again. So
yeah. So it's exactly that. It's like you have to kind of read the room, and a lot of comedy is reading the room.
Exactly.
With certain audiences, like have you ever had like a bad audience or a bad group of people you're performing to, and how did you conquer that?
Where it's just not hitting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then how did you overcome that? And how did you adjust? And what did you learn about yourself?
So you know what? Yes, I have, and all comics have. But shout out to Alam Ratansi. He actually said this thing where he was like, hey, when you bomb, it's not bombing, it's data, right? So like you tweak your joke, you tweak your joke, you tweak your cadence, your delivery. When something's not hitting on the spot, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it not landing. Yeah, there are times when, at Comedy Bar versus that other venue I told you about, there was like an audible laugh for like a good 10, 12 seconds. And like I have to wait, I get to like go to the back, take a drink of water, right? But this was just like a aha, golf clap, next joke, right? So you just kind of have to power through. And it's also about acoustics and venues and, knowing like where your audience is. So what I try to do is I try to formulate my front row. So at the very least, I know that these front 8, 10 people will be feeling it. Right. And like I do that because based on your ticket sales, you can see who's right. So if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. Right. Not all your jokes are going to be classics, but the point of it is to maybe amend your set for the next show, which I've done. Right. Like you came to Smiley Center Toronto. What wasn't there that was the first time? And there was a few jokes that I thought were classics and the crowd just wasn't feeling it. And I was like, all right, back to the drawing board. That's in the throwaway pile. Right. So. Yeah.
So part of all of that is actual process. It's curation. It's building out the story.
Yeah.
You've talked a lot about your inspiration when it comes to content. Take us through your inspiration when it comes to delivery, when it comes to the actual build up and the actual delivery of the content.
Yeah.
Where do you draw that inspiration from?
There's so many places, man. So past comedians, I research a lot of comedians that like I'm a student of comedy.
So who are some names that
Yeah.
you can relate with?
Yeah. So my style of comedy is self-deprecation. You know, like I never ever want to make a joke based off of somebody else.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Like I don't like that when people do crowd work. Crowd work is one thing, but like when you got people laughing at someone
Yeah.
based on that, like I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of that. I'm a big guy, like you know, like my guy, my go-to is he's passed away now, but his name John Pinay, and he was a big guy. He was a big guy, and all he did was talk about like you know, his weight, and his material was always about like food, and like so I studied him. There was another Humber student college graduate. My first comedy show that I ever went to see, this girl's name was Deborah Di Giovanni, and she's like a big Greek Italian girl from Toronto. Same thing, self-deprecation, right? So I like when you laugh at me
Yeah.
and with me, not against others. So like, and this is a PSA for like anyone who's coming to my comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I won't pick on you. I won't pick on you. I promise you I won't pick on you, right? And so that's always been my thing.
Yeah.
And so inspiration wise, like past comics, family members, processes wise, what I deliver and how I deliver it, I have like a little group of friends that when I hit the joke and they're like, no, right? So like cadence, delivery, up, down.
Yeah.
I yell a punchline versus like let it marinate and simmer. And if it's a big hit and if it's like a clap, I like soak it in
Yeah.
and let the rest of the crowd kind of enjoy that moment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's practice, all practice.
And it's probably and it's back to your data point.
Yeah.
The more practice the more you get in front of people,
Yeah.
the more better your content
That's
is going to
it.
be.
That's exactly it. Yeah. From where I was last November to January, alhamdulillah, like I think I'm leaps and bounds more comfortable with like stage presence, delivery of jokes. I'm not fidgeting more. I'm a very handsy comedian,
Yeah.
so like whenever you go to these venues, they're like, "What do you need?" And like some people have like these exorbitant long list of like, "Oh, I need green M&Ms," and this. I'm like, "No, man, like give me a bottle of water and a lapel mic, move the hell out the way. Like I
Yeah.
got this. Like you know what I mean? I'm there to make people laugh. I don't care about all this VIP treatment and
Yeah.
all, you know, nothing like that. Nothing like that. So, you know, that's just always been my thing.
That's
And
part of your character.
yeah, right. Like in Vancouver, the lady's like, "Oh, we can do this for you, this for you, this for you." I was like, honestly, I don't need any of that. I'm gonna be the most low maintenance, like quote unquote, yeah, superstar, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna be the most low maintenance person ever. And like they took it to heart because the green room was like in the basement dungeon. And they're like, "Here's your green room," and it's like a green leather couch surrounded by boxes. And I'm like, all right, like maybe not this. like maybe put me where there's light. Like, you know, like I feel like I'm doing monkey in this thing. Like, you know. But yeah, so yeah, man, this is one of those like processes, you know, you just gotta keep going and formulate your own pace, your own thought, your own cadence, your own delivery, right? And that only comes with practice.
Something that I've looked over or followed over the past several years is that now there were comedy bars, and now there's a lot of Netflix specials and Prime specials and all these specials that are coming out. How have you seen comedy evolve over the past several years? Kind of following it at first, but now being in the shoes of actually practicing it and being in the field.
That's a great question, man. Like the evolution is there, and just solely based on the fact that someone like me has gotten into this space and in this realm, right? So shout out to all the comics before me, and even like our community elders who are funny, but not like Mike on stage, haha, funny.
Yeah.
You know, like that uncle. Everyone
There are
has
a
that
lot of
uncle.
them, yeah.
There are a lot of uncles who are like, "Yo, I'd like to hang out with you when I'm of age." Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Right? But yo, shout out to those people because those were the inspirations, right? And then you see all the comedians who are like getting all these Netflix deals and stuff, and more power to them. I think for me, it's just the matter of I just want to make people laugh, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like the common denominator is that our community hasn't had someone like this before.
Yeah.
And I carry a lot of that on my shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing something where it's like I'm paying a tribute to all of those members of our family who have either passed away or who didn't get the opportunity or who had to be familial men and women of responsibility and couldn't pursue their dreams and their passions and their goals. So look out for that at AKM. Like I got a very big thing planned for that. Yeah.
What message do you have for like the youth, the younger generation? Like, what message do you want to send for the young in this space?
To pair that
Yeah.
question, as soon as I finished watch, I came home
Yeah.
from your comedy show at the
Yeah.
Study Center. My algorithm changed to more Ismaili artists in New York City.
Yeah.
I can't remember some names, but
Yeah.
I would scroll and they were like Zayn Davji or something like that as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them.
There's a couple.
in New
I'm,
York City.
I'm definitely not
And my
the
algorithm
first.
changed.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, damn, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
How there's so many.
I'm definitely not the first. So shout out to everyone who's been doing it for way longer than I am. I think to answer your question, for youth, if you want to do it, do it. Like anything, music, comedy, poetry, dance, anything, right? Like we had what was it? Oh man, was it arts something? Like there was an arts festival like 3 years ago. What was that? Not Illume, but like something where it was like just art. It was like Sports Fest, but for art, right? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it was the arts festival.
Arts
I know
festival,
what-
right?
I know
Yeah.
what-
So if there was a niche and an appetite from our Jamaat for arts, if there was ever an appetite and a time to run with it, now is the time.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason. Listen, we were talking about divine intervention. There's a reason why I didn't get into this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
There's a reason why opportunities and whatever didn't open up 10 years ago. There's a reason why last year I tried to get on to AKM stage and I didn't get it. Right? For whatever, for various reasons, right? And please don't, like, I'm not knocking AKM. Yeah, he knows, right? He was just like, yo, the timing's not right. And so going back to Comedy Bar, I sold that place out 4 times and I emailed the guy. I was like, look, I just sold out for the 4th time. And it's not like it was a span of like 9 months. So like Shooker, I'm a little established, right? But now I want like a weekend feature spot, which is 2 slots on Fridays, 2 slots on Saturdays. And usually it's reserved for people who have sold out and been, in the space for a little while. And he wasn't responding to me. And I was just like, yo, like I was so dejected. I was so frustrated. I was so demoted.
Yeah.
And like this show almost didn't happen. And then Nadia was just like, yo, just try emailing Aga Khan Museum. I was like, no, love, like they've already said, like, they're not with that right now. She's like, what's the worst I can say? No.
Yeah.
And then if I tell you 24 hours after I sent that, they were like, yo, let's have a sit down. Like last year we weren't with it, but this year, and it's a private rental, right? So like that's why you won't see my ads or nothing up at AKM or like on their website and stuff. But the fact of the matter remains is like, for all intents and purposes, this is our Madison Square Garden.
It really
It really is.
It's the
right?
Mecca.
Right? I haven't been to Houston yet. I know that they have a theater there, so I don't know what that is. And Edmonton, I was out there last month. They have like their Aga Khan Garden there, but their park has an amphitheater of like 700. Right? But like for all intents and purposes, this is our Madison Square Garden. And so by the will and grace of Mullah, I wasn't ready for it last year, and now he's blessed me with the opportunity to do 2 back-to-back shows.
Wow.
As my opener. Right? So, sure, man.
Just curious. What's the criteria of like comedy bars giving you a spot? Like, what do they look at? What do they consider?
Are you talking about as a show?
Like, say you sold out 4.
Yeah.
And you wanted to go back.
Yeah.
Almost got ghosted.
Yeah.
What's the criteria that they look for?
Well, I think the first one is that you've produced the show before, and the numbers, right? Like at the end of the day, they're a business, right? So like if you follow the trajectory, I still, even with my 4 sold out shows, I didn't get a weekend spot. I didn't get a primetime spot, right? So like they were really amazed that like on a Thursday, I could pull 160 people on a Thursday to come see a show.
That's a great
right? That's a great stick, like, right? So the fact that I have that kind of support from the community and following, and I can parlay that into Friday or Saturday night, like I think says volumes about like the community support. But after that, it's like, now we're thinking bigger and better and going bigger venues.
I love how you're saying that, like, you're just like, you didn't get into this 10 years ago, but you're doing it now. It's all, divine planning.
100%.
And just to those people who are watching, it doesn't matter how old you are, just don't let that stop you. It doesn't matter the time, just do it. So I love that.
Yeah, man, do what makes you happy. If you can take anything from my story, that I got into it like when I was 40, and I wish I would have done it when I was 30 or 20, but it wasn't my time and I wasn't ready. And for whatever reason, Mola was like, yo, your blessings are coming. Just pay attention. Because maybe I wasn't, like, if I was 30, I had a kid, I sat on Bekakal 3 times, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've done my service, and now it's time to reap the rewards of that service. So, yeah.
Your old jokes would have not landed at 30.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What kind of speaking on the like kind of last point on the process piece?
Yeah.
Is there a line when it comes to comedy that like you can't cross or you shouldn't cross or you won't cross?
Yeah.
If so, like what is that line?
I don't think there's a line of comedy, man. I think that comedy, maybe I'm biased, but like I feel like comedy is like the last free speech form.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? But it is. It is
very
right?
true.
So I think it's a relationship, right? Because comedy is very subjective. And so the relationship between the audience and the comedian, like, you know, as a comedian, very rarely do the audience member come and not know who you are.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, oh, this guy has a niche of this kind of jokes, this kind of material. There's spaces for like all dark and whatever, like, you know, political satire, all of it. But if you as the audience go there and, you know, are expecting that and get that, then it's a win-win, right? It's synergy. Me personally, because my material is very self-deprecating, I don't think that I would ever offend anybody, right? But listen, I tell my wife all the time, like, because she's a teacher and she walks that line too of like what I can say, what I can't say, what I can do, what I can't do. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, look, you could be the juiciest, ripest peach in the world. There's still gonna be people who hate peaches, like, you know what I mean? Right? So like, I'm trying my best to be as like funny, as clean, as whatever. I'm playing the cards that I've been dealt and working with the niche that I know. If I was talking about immigrant upbringings and I'm not an immigrant, like that's fake. Right? That's not who I am. And it would resonate and translate on stage. And the audience wouldn't jive with me as much. So I feel like, to answer your question, there's no line. I don't flirt with, like, you know, touchy subjects, because I don't think at least at this point in my career, I don't think I am well versed enough to go around. To navigate it. Yeah. Right? Like, I'm very safe. This is what I know. This is what I know very well. This is what I can talk about. This is what I can joke about very well. Let's go. And a lot of that will come through in my next special, because the first one was just stories. This special is more jokes, actual written jokes.
What I like about that is that it's authentic. It's you. And I feel like some comedians now kind of lean into that, like those controversial things for clicks and views and stuff, but it's not really them.
No.
But I like the fact that you're sticking to like stories and things about you and about Toronto and your life. Absolutely. A lot of us can kind of resonate with, as opposed to like those clickbait comedians that do it just for because they say something crazy that they're going to get views and stuff. But you're doing it because it's authentic to you.
And listen, and those views, for whatever reason, they get more attention and whatever. They're doing it for a reason. It's our society right now. Right? But everyone's doing that. So isn't it refreshing when you have somebody that's
not doing that,
right? So I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know, and I'll speak on what I know. Right? So
that's fantastic. Yeah. So I mean, we're kind of nearing the tail end of our conversation, but there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. It's safe to say that 2025 has been a great year for you. Right? You've tested new waters, and there's I'm sure a lot in store for 2026. But how has doing stand up changed, or how you were as a person from when you first thought about it to now that you're doing it? And kind of talk about what's changed, what's come out in light. What's been exciting for you?
I think the connections have been very right. So like a year ago, I wouldn't have been blessed with this opportunity to stand, right? So I feel like it's opened up a lot. Legit. I'm serious, man. I'm really proud of you guys, man. Like, No, I think from just openings of like making people laugh, like World Partnership Walk, the news, going to Alberta, performing for Focus, a couple of other private functions that I've done, like. I'm happy with the doors that comedy's opened, but I'm not satisfied yet. You know what I mean? Like I'm always looking for more, right? And obviously living within the confines and ethics of our faith and not quote unquote selling out. My common denominator is always going to be like humility. And like, like if Zane sees me in Kanye all the time, I'll say what's up to everyone and anyone, like age 5 to whatever, right? And I think for me, it's more like 2025 has been blessed and richly blessed. But I think 2026 now, with a bigger tour, with more opportunities, I just want to make people laugh, man. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, I literally just want to make people laugh. Awesome. Like our community right now, especially, listen, we've gone however long into this podcast about without talking about mobile, right? Yeah. And a couple weeks back, he mentioned specifically like comedy as an art form and to, dive into it. And bro, I had this dream. It's the craziest. I had this dream where I'm doing a sellout show at Comedy Bar and no one showed up. And I was like, yo, where did everybody go? And I walk out and it's just me and Molba. Oh, bro, what I got, I rarely get chills. Like I woke up and I was just sitting in the dark for like 7 minutes straight. I was like, yo, if that happens, I swear to God. Like, because you know what I mean? Like Molba, right now there's a big initiative on like youth and trying to engage the youth and coming back to our culture. Yeah. Like, what happens if like Molba calls you and is like, hey guys, I need a podcast set up. Like in Houston or what? Like, you know what I mean?
I want to get in the audience
and
talk about the
right? Like, that's nuts, right? That's like, can you imagine? So, yeah, man. 2026, inshallah, will be a bigger year. Yeah. More opportunities, more growth, more life. Living the dream.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So this has been amazing. It's been really refreshing. You're the first guest, kind of guest to come on the show and be with us. What we usually do, all three of us, is when we end the show, we do something called a rapid fire. Yeah. So it's like in like a word or less, you try to answer the question, and you just kind of go down the list.
I've seen people get in trouble. I've seen people get in trouble for this.
So, but like you can make it a little longer and dive into them if you'd like. The first question is one joke that you love that never hits.
Oh, never hits?
That you love.
Yeah, that you love.
I don't know.
On top of that,
I don't think I have any, like my joke or any joke.
Your joke.
No. I mean, I hope. I want to make sure I don't come across as conceited. Like the hit. I like shook her. Like I not off the top of my head.
Okay. No, sorry. What's the biggest pet peeve at a comedy show?
Talkers.
Yeah.
People who come there and realize that. Who think that they're part of the show. And Samir can attest to that. I had a guy like constantly talk during my show, and like he tried to make a joke off of one of my jokes, and I like had to check him. I'm like, hey, listen, my name's on the marquee. My name's on the marquee. Yeah. Oh, chill. Like people who talk, and I'm just like, yo, where'd you learn to whisper? Helicopter? Like, you know what I mean? Like
one habit you had to unlearn on stage.
Unlearn. I think I had to unlearn like focusing, like I had a pinpoint, right? So like I was very stagnant on stage. My stage presence wasn't there yet. So only like near the tail end of my first tour did I learn to like use the whole spatial area.
Yeah. Biggest surprise about yourself since starting?
Just the community support, man. Like this, I promise you, in no way did I think this was going to blow up the way it did. Somebody talked to somebody, like I got into Smiley magazine, like whatever. And like, bro, like the community support, unreal. Not in my wildest dreams. Like I thought I would make one thing and like sell out, whatever. And I was happy. I was like, yo, we'll donate all the proceeds. Then next thing you know, people on stage, people calling me, they're like, hey, like you should do another, like I have like 6 guys here who, whatever. And I was just like, okay, like let's go, and then that parlayed into other opportunities.
So this hits home because you are the first Ismaili comedian that my mom knows.
I'll take it.
Harder crowd, a small room or a packed room?
A small room.
Yeah,
small room.
It's harder. It's a harder crowd.
Yeah.
One word to describe your first set.
Grateful.
First set that you did.
Grateful.
Grateful. Awesome. One word to describe you now as a comic.
Hopefully still humble.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I always want to remain humble, man. Like I had an interaction with someone in Kane a couple weeks back, and they were like, hey, I'm your biggest fan. And I was like, no, I don't have fans. I have new family. You know what I mean? So I'll just see you at the next family reunion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Before we wrap up on this ride, I know that you wanted to share something as well, so I'll give you the mic.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So the first time I ever had a show, January. I had a show and I had so many, bro, it felt like, if for those of you who are older, 35, it felt like TIC.
That's real.
Bro, I thought there were people there that I hadn't seen in like 20 years, high school people that came on, and I was just like, wow, like this was unreal. One of those people was Summer, right? And Summer comes to me and he's like, hey, listen, I'm a DJ and I would love to do like a set for you at one of your shows. right? So my whole mantra, and you can look back on like other interviews and where my whole mantra with this little bit of success, all the humility a joker like me can muster, is build a longer table, not a taller fence.
I love that.
Right? So you look at, and all of my videographer, my marketing guys, my graphic guys, everyone is a smiley. We're all going to eat together. Right? So in that spirit, I want you at one of these shows to be my DJ. We're gonna hype you up. Yeah, and that happened in January, right?
Yeah, January.
So we're in December now.
Yeah.
11 months. That's been in my head.
That's crazy.
No, I remember that.
That's crazy.
And actually told me this like several months ago. In kind of, he's next time you do your podcast, I'm gonna announce it.
That's crazy.
At the podcast, right?
He's been holding this for 11 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Man.
Yeah. No, we're gonna
sure.
off camera. We're gonna chat. We're gonna chop it up. I don't know which one allows it, but please, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
We're gonna have to take a video of you performing and you
Absolutely.
absolutely and put it on our social.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry. So one more thing.
No, please.
One thing I will drop, and another reason I wanted to come here. So ICT, I did the show last week, 2 weeks ago. And basically I said in the audience that if anyone wants an opening spot, if you've been thinking about this and you want to try comedy, please, I invite you to DM me. I'll vet your material, your 5, 10, 7 minutes of your material. Make sure it's not raunchy or sexual. That's my only, caveat. If you've been thinking about this, I want to give you an opportunity. I've already secured one very bright, very young Ismaili comedian. I'm telling you, this guy is going to be bigger than me and anything.
That's awesome.
So I'm giving him a shot, and I'm hoping to give anyone else who's out there listening a shot. Please submit your applications to my socials.
That's fantastic, and we'll share those in the description at the end. Listen, a huge thank you to Zul Ghulam Hussain for pulling up, sharing laughs, stories, and reminding us that sometimes the funniest things are the ones we all pretend not to say out loud. If today's episode felt familiar, it's because it was. Immigrant homes and community love. It's all part of the same story. Make sure you check out Zul's new tour, Nergis's Son, also behind us, kicking off January 31st at the Aga Khan Museum. And trust us, we've been to his past shows. You don't want to miss this one. Grab tickets and follow his journey and support Zul at the Minor Inconveniences Guy on Instagram. And if you rocked with this episode, do us a favor too. Follow Off The Rickshaw, share this with your group chat, and drop a comment or DM with who you'd like for us to have on the pod next. Until next time, stay loud, stay curious, and stay a little unfiltered. This is Off The Rickshaw. We'll catch you on the next ride. Thanks, all.